It was my first week in London. A real job, a real office, a real British team. My manager looked at me across the table. She said, "Lucas, do you think this plan will work?" I was prepared. I knew the answer. I looked her in the eyes. I said, "Yes." The whole room went quiet. Not a good quiet, a very uncomfortable quiet. My colleague leaned over later and whispered, "Maybe next time, say a little more." I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea I had done anything wrong. I just said yes. Today, we fix that.
Hello, and welcome to Talk Gora English. I am Mia, your guide to natural, real British English.
And I am Lucas. I am the guy who once silenced an entire meeting room with one word. That word was yes. We have a lot to talk about today.
We really do. Wherever you are listening right now, on the bus, at the gym, walking to work, this episode is made for you. Today, we are looking at something very specific, how British people agree and disagree in real life. Not in a textbook, in real conversations.
And I speak from experience, painful experience.
The best kind. Shall we get into it?
Absolutely. Wait, is that one of today's phrases?
It is, actually. Here's something I want you to hear clearly. Correct English and natural English are two completely different things. Your grammar book is not wrong, but it taught you how to pass a test, not how to have a conversation.
That is so true. I passed every English exam. I scored well. I studied hard. And then I moved to the UK and felt like a tourist in my own language.
Here is a simple example. Textbook English says, "I agree with your point." Natural British English says, "Absolutely," "fair enough," or even just "brilliant."
Wait, brilliant means you agree?
In many situations, yes. And that is the whole problem. You probably know what brilliant means in the dictionary, but do you know when a British person says it, what they are really feeling?
I did not. Until recently.
And you are not alone. Millions of people have your vocabulary, but the gap between knowing words and sounding natural, that gap is what this episode closes.
So let me tell you what actually happened that week in London. It was a Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. The office was in Canary Wharf, all glass and gray suits. I had prepared for this meeting. I had written notes. I had rehearsed answers. I was ready. My manager, her name was Sarah, she stood up at the front. She presented a new project plan. Then she turned to the team and said, "Right, thoughts? Does everyone feel this direction is sensible?" And around the table, my British colleagues, they started responding. One said, "Yeah, spot on, Sarah." Another said, "I see where you're coming from. I think it could work." Someone else said, "Fair enough. I had a few concerns, but I take your point." And then they looked at me.
Oh, Lucas.
I said, "Yes." That was it, just yes. Complete silence. Sarah smiled, but it was not a warm smile. It was a polite, very British, "I'm not sure what to do with that" smile. After the meeting, my colleague James, lovely man, came over to me. He said, "Hey, just so you know, we normally give a bit more than yes or no in meetings. It's not about being wrong, it's just a yes without anything else can feel a bit flat."
And flat is the key word there. In British culture, especially at work, how you agree matters as much as whether you agree.
And nobody, not one English class, ever taught me that.
And that is exactly why we made this podcast. Right, let us teach you the good stuff. 10 phrases starting with the most important ones. Number 1, brilliant. This is a very British way to show enthusiasm and agreement. You can use it when someone says something you like or when a plan sounds good. It's warm, positive, and very natural in the UK.
So if my boss says, "Let's finish early today," I can say, "Brilliant?"
Exactly. Perfect example. Notice what Lucas said. He did not say, "That is wonderful news." He just said, "Brilliant." Short, warm, natural. In the US, you'd more likely hear "awesome" or "sounds great." Same feeling, different word. Number 2, Fair enough. This one is powerful. Use it when you accept something, even if you're not 100% sure. It means, I hear you. I can accept that.
Oh, so it's not a compliment. I thought fair enough was like saying that is very good.
No, it's not about quality. It means that is acceptable. I can work with that. Example, we can't meet on Monday. Fair enough. What about Wednesday?
That is very useful. I've been misusing that one completely. Brilliant.
Well done. You used it correctly just then. Number 3, I see where you're coming from. Use this when you understand someone's view, but you don't fully agree. It's polite, it's warm, and it keeps the conversation open.
So it's like saying, I get you, but I'm not fully convinced.
Exactly right. Example, I see where you're coming from, but I think we should wait another week. Notice, it softens the disagreement. You're not saying no, you're saying, I understand you, and here is my view. This phrase works the same in both the US and UK. Number 4, that's quite interesting. Now, be careful with this one.
It sounds like a compliment.
It can be, but when a British person says, that's quite interesting, with a slight pause after it, they often mean, I'm not sure I agree, but I'm being polite about it.
That is terrifying, actually.
Welcome to Britain. Context is everything. If someone says it quickly and warmly, genuine. If they say it slowly with a pause, that's quite interesting. They probably have doubts. Number 5, I take your point, but this is your polite disagreement tool. Use it in meetings, discussions, anywhere professional. You acknowledge the other person first, then you give your view.
So it's not rude.
Not at all. It's the opposite of rude. Example, I take your point, but I think the budget might be a challenge. This is how professional British disagreement sounds. In the US, you might hear, I hear you, but same structure, same politeness. Role play time. To the listener, listeners, say the right answer out loud with Lucas. That's how this works. Ready? Scenario 1, casual, a cafe in London. Your friend says, I was thinking we could try that new Italian place this weekend. Lucas, go.
I agree with your suggestion.
Oh, no. No, nobody says that to a friend. Nobody. Try again.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Perfect. That was brilliant, Lucas. Literally. You used the word and it felt completely natural. The right version works because it has energy. It sounds like a real person, not a grammar exercise. Scenario 2, professional. A team meeting in Manchester. Your manager says, I think we should delay the product launch by 2 weeks. You're not sure it's a good idea, but you want to be respectful.
No, I do not agree.
Oh, no. Sympathetic, but firm. In a British office, that will make the room very cold. Think about it. Try again.
I see where you're coming from. I take your point. Can I just ask, would 1 week be enough?
That was genuinely excellent. You disagreed, but you did it softly, professionally, and with a question. That's the British way. You kept the conversation going. You didn't close it. Right. Fast round now. Say this, not that. I give you the old version. Lucas gives you the natural version. Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
Shorter, warmer, and more confident. One word does the work. No, I disagree.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
In British English, you almost never say, I disagree directly. Too blunt, too cold. Soften it, and people will actually listen to you. In the UK, spot on. In the USA, exactly right, or you nailed it. Spot on is deeply British. Americans will understand it, but they rarely say it. Know which country you are in and match your audience. That is a good point.
That's a fair point. I hadn't thought of it like that.
The longer version shows you actually listened. In a meeting, that matters more than you think. I do not know.
That's debatable. Yeah, I'd need to think about it.
I do not know sounds like you are not engaged. That's debatable sounds like you are thinking. Big difference in a professional setting. Now we are going to do something special, our listen twice moment. We're going to play a short conversation, First time, just listen. Enjoy it. Do not analyze. Second time, listen for the specific phrases from today.
So, what did you think of the new proposal?
Honestly, I see where you're coming from with the timeline, but I'm not entirely sure about the budget side of things.
Fair enough. I had the same concern, actually.
Really? You seemed pretty convinced in there.
Well, I take your point about the risks. I think Sarah made a brilliant case, though.
Oh, absolutely. The strategy is spot on. It's just the numbers I want to look at again.
That's debatable, yeah. Let's grab a coffee and go through it.
Brilliant idea. To the listener, how many phrases did you catch that time? Now, second listen, a little slower. This time, listen for fair enough, I take your point, absolutely, and spot on. Did you hear them all? Notice what Priya said. I'm not entirely sure about the budget side of things. She is disagreeing, but she sounds thoughtful, not aggressive. And notice what Jamie said at the end. That's debatable. He's not saying she's wrong, he's saying, let's keep talking. That is the art of British disagreement. It keeps the relationship intact. And in a work environment, or with British friends, that's everything. A great conversation is not a debate, it's the beginning of a connection.
I want to say something honest for a moment. When I moved to a new country, I was not afraid of speaking. I was afraid of being misunderstood. I would walk into a room of people speaking naturally, laughing, disagreeing, agreeing, joking, and I felt like there was a glass wall between them and me. I could see the conversation. I could not feel it. I was on the outside looking in, and I smiled, and I nodded, and I said yes a lot because that felt safe. And I know that some of you listening right now, you know that feeling. You aren't confused about grammar. You're confused about belonging. You have the words, but you're not sure how to use them to connect. That's not a language problem. That's a human problem. And it's the most common feeling in the world for someone living in a new country.
And here's what I want you to know. Every phrase we taught you today, fair enough, brilliant, I see where you're coming from, these are not just words, they're bridges. They're how you step through that glass wall, one conversation at a time. You're already doing it. You're here. And that takes courage.
Okay, here's your challenge for today. Go to the comments below, write this, your name, and one phrase from today that you want to use this week. For example, Lucas, fair enough, or Aisha, absolutely. That's it, just your name and one phrase.
To the listener, it takes 10 seconds and it tells your brain, I'm using this.
And we read every single comment, every one. Your words land. We see them.
If this episode helped you, and I genuinely hope it did, please subscribe to Talk Gora English. We put out new episodes every week. Real English, real situations, real people.
And share this episode with one person today. A friend who's learning English, a colleague who just moved to a new country, a family member preparing for a trip. One share from you could change someone's week.
Thanks for listening. I'm Lucas. And I'm Mia. Keep talking, keep learning, and remember, you're not just learning English, you're building a life in it. We'll see you in the next one.